What does it take to impress you? Some people are hard to impress, and others are easy. But when it comes to the claims on food packaging, we all need to be a little bit cynical. If you have blood sugar issues, when you look at a nutritional label, you need to be especially concerned with four main categories: the serving size, servings per container, the total carbohydrate, and the dietary fiber. The serving size is important because without that you can easily be deceived. This can of soup shows 22 grams of carbs, which doesn't sound too terrible, but if you look at the serving size, you can see that this only represents 1 cup of soup. And there are 2 servings per container, which means that if you're planning to eat the entire can of soup, you'll be getting 44 grams of carbs rather than 22. This bottle of Nesquik chocolate milk lists 24 grams of carbs, but if you look carefully, you discover this only represents half the bottle, and that in truth, if you drink this small bottle of chocolate milk, you'll be ingesting a whopping 48 grams of carbs with almost no fiber. The total carbohydrate is, of course, very important. This gives you a quick overview of just what kind of food you're dealing with. But don't forget to check out the dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is the one type of carbs which you have nothing to fear. Fiber normally will not raise your blood sugar at all. So in comparing foods and trying to discern the good from the bad, the formula is pretty simple. Figure out how many grams of carbohydrate you'll be eating, subtract the grams of dietary fiber, and you'll get the net carbs for that particular food. As you look at the packaging of foods, one of the things you need to know is what you should not be impressed by. By all means, be impressed by a low carbohydrate number on the label. Be impressed when a high percentage of the carbohydrates that are listed are fiber carbs. But there are some things that you should not be duped by when you see them proudly displayed on the packaging. First, you should not be impressed by the term gluten-free. That simply means the food has no wheat, barley, or rye. But that's really not a big deal for the diabetic or the pre-diabetic. A big bowl of rice, for example, is gluten-free, but it's terrible for your blood sugar. Corn muffins are gluten-free, but if you think your body's going to be impressed and your blood sugar will not rise, think again. The idea of going gluten-free has become cool these days, but it really means nothing unless you happen to be allergic to wheat. But if that's not the case, don't buy gluten-free foods and think you've solved your blood sugar problems. Another term that you should not be impressed by is the word fat-free or low-fat. In fact, not only should you not be impressed, in truth, you ought to be scared when you see that. Because in nearly every case where they make a product fat-free or low-fat, they make up for the lack of taste with added sugar. That's right. Nearly all the time where you compare a fat-free food to the original food that has more fat, the fat-free food is higher in sugar, and it's going to be more of a problem for your blood sugar levels. For people who struggle with runaway blood sugar, their problem is not fat. It is carbohydrates. Fat doesn't even budge your blood sugar the least little bit. But carbs will send it soaring. Another term that should not impress you is the phrase cholesterol-free. So what if a food is cholesterol-free? Every non-animal-based food is cholesterol-free. Donuts, depending on how they're fried, can be cholesterol-free. Trix cereal is cholesterol-free. Potato chips are cholesterol-free. But that by no means makes them good for you. You are far better off eating a large piece of grilled chicken or a couple of eggs than gorging on cholesterol-free potato chips. Now, this next term that I want to mention is going to shock you, but I have to say it. Don't be overly impressed with the term whole wheat or whole grain. Now, I know some of you are already screaming at me and shouting out blasphemy and calling me a food heretic, but listen to me, hear me out. You can be impressed with the idea of whole grain, somewhat, but don't be too impressed. Here's what I mean. Yes, whole grain foods are preferable to their white cousins. So if you have to eat a piece of bread, choose whole grain bread over white. If you have to eat a bowl of rice, go for the brown rice over the white rice. But don't suppose that just because a food is whole grain, it gets a free pass when it comes to its effect on your blood sugar. Whole wheat bread and white bread are not that much different in raising blood sugar levels. Brown rice and white rice are nearly identical, both in their carbs and in their ability to raise your blood sugar. The extra fiber may help a little, but not that much. So don't get excited about the term whole grain, so that you assume that you can eat as much whole grain cereal, whole grain bread, whole grain rice as your heart desires. You most assuredly cannot. That is, if you're serious about bringing your blood sugar under control. What you've been watching is a clip we lifted from my series, Overcome Runaway Blood Sugar. If you'd like to get the series on DVD, check out the link in the description notes. When it comes to keeping your blood sugar under control, a little knowledge is a powerful thing. Not only does knowledge about foods and what they'll do to your glucose levels help you make wise choices, it will give you the motivation to make those choices. And as you make good choices, chances are you will see that fasting blood sugar and those A1C scores come down, down, down. And that, my friend, is a beautiful thing. One of the great blessings of doing this YouTube channel is reading the testimonies and the comments from people who've gone from extremely high blood sugar to normal blood sugar simply by making some smart choices in their eating habits and adding a little exercise. I never get tired of reading these wonderful stories, so if you've got a story to tell, put it in the comments and bless the rest of us. Well, that's it for now. If you found the video helpful, give it a thumbs up. The more likes a video gets, the more YouTube recognizes its value and promotes it to others when they search for a related topic. And consider subscribing to this channel and then clicking on the little bell icon so that you'll be notified every time we post a new video. God bless, and see you again soon.